A worsted weight amigurumi kitty cutie is here, guys. This is the kitty jewelry holder. She has a pair of earrings in here, a necklace. I have a little ring that you could put on her ear. She's just super cute. Put her at your bedside in your bathroom. You can also put beads in here if you are having a little one that wanted to make a necklace. You can store your stitch markers. You can use it as a pin cushion. I mean, whatever you can think of, these kitties can do. So grab your worsted weight yarn, your G-hook, and let's go through the supply list and then make this kitty. Hi guys, it's Katie from Yarn Society. Today we're going to make our kitty jewelry holder. We're going to start with a slip knot. Go ahead and make your slip knot. We're going to chain 7. We are going to be working in continuous rounds, so we're not going to be attaching with a slip stitch or anything. We're just going to be working in the round. Once you have your 7, we are going to start in that second chain from the hook, and we're going to single crochet down the row. Get your hook underneath that top chain and make a single crochet. We're going to move over and make another single crochet. This is 2. Go into your next stitch. This is 3. Another single crochet. This is 4. Single crochet 5, and then single crochet 6. So now we have 6 single crochet. We're going to work down the other side of the chain. So we're going to be going into this top stitch here, and then we're going to be going into all of these little stitches. So we're going to have 6 single crochet total. Place your hook into that stitch right above where you ended. Just going to move my tail and make a single crochet. Then we're going to go into our next little hole here. This is single crochet 2. Find your next stitch. Sometimes you can pull and see a little bit of that hole. A single crochet 3, single crochet 4, single crochet 5, and single crochet 6. Because we are working in the round, I'm going to place a stitch marker on the last stitch of the round. Feel free to place it on the first if that's what you're used to. We have a total of 12 stitches. For round 2, we are going to be making a single crochet increase in the first stitch and a single crochet into the next. We'll repeat that sequence all the way around. Place your hook underneath the first stitch and we'll be making 2 single crochet. Here's 1. Go back into the same stitch and 2. Move over for a single crochet. We're going to make a single crochet increase in the next stitch. And then we'll move over for a single crochet. Here's another single crochet increase, 2 stitches in the same stitch, and then a single crochet. Here's another single crochet increase. Here's 1, single crochet 2, and then we're going to move over for a single crochet. Here's another single crochet increase. Move over for a single crochet, and then here is another single crochet increase, and with a single crochet. Moving forward, I'm not going to call it a single crochet increase, I'm just going to call it an increase. At the end of round 2, we have 18 stitches. We're going to change our stitch marker. If you notice that these holes in the middle are really big, don't worry about it at all because it's going to be on the inside of your holder. For round 3, we are going to increase in the first stitch, single crochet in each of the next 2, and we'll repeat the sequence. Here is an increase, 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and then single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1, move over, single crochet 2. Here's another increase, single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1 and 2. Here's another increase, single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1, move over, 2. We have another increase, single crochet in the next 2. We have another increase, single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1 and 2. And then here's our last sequence of an increase, single crochet in the last 2. At the end of round 3, we have 24 stitches. Change your stitch marker. For round 4, we're going to increase in the first stitch, single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Here is our first increase. And then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 3. Here we have 1, move over, this is our second, move over, and this is our third single crochet. Now we're going to make another single crochet increase, single crochet in each of the next 3, and then we have another increase, single crochet in the next 3. And if I am going a little bit faster, you can use that gear button and slow me down. We're going to make another increase, single crochet in the next 3, here is another increase, single crochet in the next 3, here's our last increase, single crochet in the last 3 stitches. At the end of round 4, we have 30 stitches. For round 5, we're going to make an invisible decrease and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 3. I'll go slow for the first decrease. We're going to place our hook underneath that first front loop, place it directly under the next front loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. Single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to make another invisible decrease, go under the front loop, go under the front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 3. Here is another decrease, single crochet in each of the next 3. Here is another decrease, single crochet in the next 3. Here is a decrease, single crochet in the next 3. And then here's our last decrease, single crochet in the last 3. At the end of round 5, we have 24 stitches. We're going to change our stitch marker. For round 6, we're going to make 1 decrease and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Here is our first decrease, single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1 and 2. Then we have another decrease, single crochet in the next 2, another decrease, single crochet in the next 2. Here's a decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, and then our last decrease, single crochet in the next 2. At the end of round 6, we have 18 stitches. We're going to change our stitch marker. For round 7, we're going to be making the ears. So what we're going to do is I like to grab 2 stitch markers to mark my back loops. And then I also like to grab some stitch markers to mark the ears. If this is your first time doing any of my ears, I would suggest grabbing something if you don't have stitch markers, maybe like a bobby pin or a safety pin, just for maybe the first time around. If you've done a few of my patterns before, you and you don't like to use the stitch markers, you feel free to do whatever you like. I am a stitch marker crazy lady. So here we're going to mark the back loop only of stitch 4. So this is my 4th stitch. I'm going to mark the back loop. And then I'm going to find stitch 8. So here's 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm just going to recount to make sure I have the right stitches. Okay, now we're going to get set up again to start round 7. For round 7, we're going to make a single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches. So we have 3 stitches available before our stitch marker. Here is single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then single crochet 3. To make the ear, we're going to work into that front loop only. We're going to place a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, a chain 1, a half double crochet, and a single crochet all in the same stitch. And we're going to mark them. So I'm going to walk you through this. Place your hook under that front loop, and then we're going to make a single crochet. Once you've made your single crochet, go ahead and grab a stitch marker or a bobby pin and mark that stitch. This is just helpful for the next round. Then we're going to make a half double crochet. So yarn over, go under the same front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Make a double crochet, yarn over, go underneath that same front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to chain 1, then we're going to half double crochet, yarn over, go under the same front loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now we're going to make a single crochet underneath that same front loop, our last stitch, and we're also going to mark this one as well. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So we have 3 stitches available. Here is 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to repeat that sequence for the ear. So go under the same front loop and make a single crochet. Pause here and mark it with a stitch marker. We're going to make a half double crochet, a double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, just making sure I got that right, and then a single crochet, all under the same stitch. And then we're going to mark that last single crochet. We're going to end by single crocheting in the next 10 stitches. Here is single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So at the end of round 7, we're going to have 18 stitches. For round 8, we are going to be working into the stitches that we marked for the back loop. So we'll have 3 here. The back loop, we're not going to be working into these stitches here of the ear. We'll do the 3 in the middle, our back loop, and then we'll finish off with our 10. Here we'll start by single crocheting in the first 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to ignore all those blue stitch markers and we're going to go into that back loop that we marked. We're going to single crochet. I'm going to take out my stitch marker. And now I'm going to go into the stitch next to my blue stitch marker. So I see that, and then I'm going to go into these 3 stitches. So we're going to single crochet in the next 3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Ignore all the stitch markers with the ear and go into that back loop that you marked. We're going to single crochet in the next 10. We're going to go into the stitch next to the blue stitch marker. And we'll single crochet in the next 10. At the end of round 8, we still have 18 stitches. And this is how our ears are looking. I'm going to take out all of these stitch markers. And then this is how we're looking so far. Cute little ears. For round 9, we are going to make an increase in the first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2. We'll repeat that sequence. Here is an increase. Single crochet in each of the next 2. Here's 1. Move over. Here's 2. Then we're going to have another increase. Single crochet in each of the next 2. Increase. Single crochet in the next 2. Increase. Single crochet in the next 2. Increase. Single crochet in the next 2. Then we have another increase. Single crochet in the last 2. At the end of round 9, we are going to have 24 stitches. For round 10 and 11, we are going to be single crocheting all the way around in the next 24 stitches. But for round 11, if you'd like, you can mark our eye placement. So I'm going to go around round 10, and then I'll show you how I like to mark the round. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you have been around my channel for a while, I kept saying how this fox was coming, and I did the video. And then when I went to go edit it, I was missing a big chunk, and I was so confused. And I don't delete any files, so I was like, where is this middle chunk of my fox? And I was going crazy looking for it, and then it dawned on me that I thought I was recording, and I don't actually think I recorded it. So I have to go back and re-record. So I did have this one done, so I thought I could pop this up for you. So if you are waiting on the fox, I am so sorry, and it will happen. I don't know why this fox just doesn't want to come out like to life. I'm not sure, but it will be here soon. I promise. Okay, we're at the end of round 10. We have 24 stitches. I'm going to change my stitch marker. For round 11, I want to mark this so that I can place my eyes later. So I'm going to do a few stitches. And then I'm just going to grab a stitch marker that we pulled out from before. So here's about 3 single crochet. I'm just going to mark it here on one of these stitches. And then later I'll know that this is round 11. So continue to crochet, and then we'll meet back at the end of round 11. At the end of round 11, we still have 24 stitches. Our 11 is marked. For round 12, we are going to make an increase in the first stitch, single crochet in the next 3. Here is our first increase. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here's another increase. Single crochet in the next 3. Here's an increase. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here is another increase. Single crochet in the next 3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Then we have another increase. Single crochet in the next 3. And then our last increase. Single crochet in the next 3. At the end of round 12, we are going to have 30 stitches. For round 13 and round 14, we're going to single crochet into the next 30. So you can go ahead and single crochet 13 and 14, and then we'll meet back. I'm popping back in a little early on round 14 because I wanted to mention that this morning I saw something on YouTube that was new for community, and I believe it said that subscribers can now post on my community page and possibly share photos. So if this is true, this could be a game changer because I can see your finished items. And that would be so exciting for me because my Instagram thing has just, I don't know why, I just can't I just can't post. I don't know why. So I'm going to look at this. I just saw it this morning, and then I will let you guys know in my community how that works. So we're here at the end of round 14. We still have 30 stitches. I'm going to change my stitch marker. For round 15, we are going to make a decrease, single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and we'll repeat that sequence. Here's our first decrease, single crochet in each of the next 3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And then we have another decrease, single crochet in the next 3, decrease, single crochet in the next 3, we have another decrease, single crochet in the next 3, decrease, single crochet in the next 3. Here's our last decrease, single crochet into the last 3 stitches. At the end of round 15, we have 24 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. I'm going to leave some slack here and put a stitch marker on my working yarn because I don't want to lose it. We're going to place our safety eyes and then we're going to embroider a little bit. We're going to grab our 10 millimeter safety eyes. Here they are. And then we're going to be placing those between round 11 and 12. So I'm going to grab a yarn needle. This is round 11 and I know this is 12. I'm just going to kind of place my needle there. And then I want to kind of find the middle between my ears. And I found it and I already marked it. So that was pretty cool. So I'm going to mark that. You want to leave 3 stitches open in between the eyes. So here's 1, and then I'm going to leave 1 open on each side. So I'm going to place my eye there. I'm going to leave that guy open. I'm going to go to the next stitch. So I'm not going to put the backings on my eyes just yet. I want to embroider on the nose first. I'm going to grab some embroidery floss and an embroidery needle. I made a double knot at the end. And I just want to show you guys, I've been really liking this DMC. It's like cotton pearl. And it just is a little bit thinner, but it's kind of nice to work with. So if you're wanting to try something new, that's just near the embroidery floss at Michael's. To get started with embroidering, I'm going to make a knot on the inside of the head. So I'm just going to find any stitch, pull through to my knot. Then I'm going to go through any stitch again or the same one. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go here. And then I'm going to pull it through until I have a loop. And then I'm going to go behind the loop to make a knot. I'm going to go up between around 11 and 12, right between the eyes and that middle stitch. And then I'm just going to pull down. I like to go maybe like 1.5 rounds. So I'm going to just make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to go here, leave 1 round, and then I'm going to go into like halfway point here. And then I'll pull that through. Now I'm going to go up into the stitch right next to the eye. And then I'm going to pull that over into the other stitch that's right next to the eye. And that's going to make just a really simple nose. We're going to make a few whiskers. I'm going to go up through the corner stitch right next to the eye. So it's right there. And then I like to start out by going up around and over a stitch. So I'm going up and then over a stitch. Now I'm going to go up through the original stitch that I made. And then I'm going to go on the same round, just 1 stitch over. go up through the original stitch. Then I'm going to go down around and kind of just find where I ended on the other whiskers. Do the same thing on the other side, find that corner stitch of the eye. Go up around and over. Go through your main stitch. Go over on the same round. Go up through your original stitch. And then go down around and move over one stitch. And that's it. We're going to make a knot on the inside of the head. I don't have a lot of embroidery floss left. So for video's sake, I'm just going to make one knot. But you would pull that through until you got a loop. And then you would put your needle through the loop. So I'm just going to make one knot, but usually I would make two. Do what you would like. At this point, you can secure your eyes, and then we will move on with the pattern. We only surprisingly have 3 stitches or 3 rounds left. So this is a pretty quick little make. Okay, we're all set. She has her face and her whiskers, and we're good to go. We're going to get set up one more time, and now we are going to single crochet into the back loop only for the next 24 stitches. Place your hook into the back loop only and single crochet into the next 24. You guys, I have a hummingbird right outside my window, and she's like, he or she, I don't know, they're like eating the lavender, or like, getting the nectar from the lavender. And I was in my office this time yesterday, and the hummingbird came, so I wonder if this is like the time that they're going to come now every day, and I'm so excited because I wanted to get a hummingbird feeder, but I can't, I don't have a good spot where the ants don't come. So this is so cool. I'm really excited. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I always feel like the hummingbirds, like I'm going to scare them away. Okay, we're at the end of round 16. We have 24 stitches still. For round 17, we're going to make a decrease in the first stitch, single crochet into the next 2. Here's our first decrease, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Here's another decrease, single crochet in each of the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet in the next 2, decrease, single crochet into the last 2. At the end of round 17, we have 18 stitches left. For round 18, we are going to decrease 9 times. So usually I would do one more round and then close, but this is actually our last round because it got a little too bunched up on the bottom. So we are going to make 9 decreases. Here is decrease 1. Here is decrease 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We are going to take out our stitch marker because we are done. We're just going to close this kitty up. So leave a long tail. I'm going to fasten off by yarning over and pulling that yarn all the way through. I'm going to grab a yarn needle and attach that yarn tail. Okay, from here, we're just going to find our 9 stitches. I'm just tightening up that fastened off. So here we're going to count our 9. I need 9. So I'm going to go down the front loop of the first stitch and pull towards me. That's 1. This is our second stitch. Go down the front loop. This is our third, our fourth, fifth. Here's 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, we're going to pull this tight, but I'm also going to keep an eye on that hole. So I'm going to pull, and then I also kind of know that this hole is right up here, and if you put your needle in there, it kind of starts to open again. So you can insert your needle and then just start weaving it going up. And then I'm going to just get it weaved all the way to the top. Then you can just snip off the end. So we're almost done. We have our kitty. She looks pretty rough right now. What you're going to do is just start tucking and rolling down that inner part until you reach the ears. You really kind of want to smooth things out, smooth out the bottom. And your eyes, I think I just pulled my yarn tail all the way through. That's okay. I'm just going to cut it off. Your eyes won't poke through the back, but there will be like a small little bump that I'll try to show you here. Just going to kind of straighten these out. So here, they don't poke through, but you do kind of notice that they do have a little bit of a bump. So you're done. They're not as stiff as my desk buddies because that's in that really thick yarn. So the worsted has a lot more movement, so it's a little bit squishier, but it still is kind of that double layer, so it does have more structure than if it was just one layer. So I think it would be great for your jewelry. Pop some beads in there. I'm going to show you how it looks with the beads. Here we have some beads. If you set this up for your kiddo with like some elastic ring, they would be so excited to make some beaded bracelets or necklaces or something fun for the summer. And then you can also use this friend as like a little pin cushion or pop your stitch markers in there. I love using them for, especially my desk buddies too, using those as pin cushions and kind of keeping everything in one place. It's just really nice. And don't forget your jewelry holder, just a cute way to hold your jewelry for the next day. And speaking of my desk buddy, if you love the jewelry holder and you have some bulky Chenille yarn, go ahead and whip up a desk buddy to match that can hold your crochet hooks and your pens and pencils. And it's my favorite thing on my desk. I love it so much. So there's a free pattern, free video. Head over to yarnsociety.com so you can see all the patterns and videos that I have. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video.